we're going over the cold call process. The cold call process is a 6-step process that ensures you can do something consistent because the more times you do something, the higher chance you're going to get good at it. So the 6 steps is the introduction, separation, the value statement, asking for the appointment, solidifying the appointment, and then confirming the decision makers. So step 1 is the introduction. This should be a brief introduction about yourself and who you're calling from, which is obviously 5 stars, while building rapport. Be friendly and warm as opposed to like cold and abrupt. Ask for the owner, but ease into the question without sounding too cold. Be purposeful to say like, hello, how are you doing today? Ask them if they can help you out. Most salespeople just ask, hey, is the owner available? But with these simple things that will add and soften the question, it's gonna set yourself apart immediately. Once you ask for the owner and get him or her on the phone, you're gonna wanna give a warm and simple introduction with your name and who you're calling from, which again, obviously is 5 stars. Step 2 of the cold call process is the separation. During the calls you're making and you're reaching employees, again, you're gathering information and facts about the businesses so you can separate yourself from the other salespeople to get the owner's attention. It shows you have knowledge about their specific company and about them, about their business. You've done the work on the front end, so use it so you can use it to your advantage on the back end. This might be like, hey, I was talking to Sally the other day. She said you guys were using punch cards, which is exactly why I'm calling. Super short, super to the point, but it set yourself apart. Step 3 is the value statement. Introduce 1 or 2 pieces of information of 5 stars to pique interest of the owner, as in like specific things we specialize in. Though you won't fully be able to explain all of this because your sales rep is going to go over all of it when they meet in person, but there's 3 very important reasons why you want to lead with these bits of value. So number 1 is businesses get sales calls all day long. Think next time you're at a clothing boutique and the phone rings, there's a really good chance they're not asking if they still sell that blue scarf, right? It's people like me trying to sell them something. If you just simply tell them you work with other businesses in the area, they have no clue what that means, what you're selling, whether it's credit card processing, maybe a food and beverage vendor, employee insurance, advertising, whatever, right? But by giving them some bit of value, it will quickly eliminate a majority of what 5 stars does not specialize in. So an example is, hey, we specialize in getting your customers to come in more often and spend more money when they do. Number 2 to the value statement is by giving some value, you can sometimes set the meeting easier and will often prevent having to give more explanations. So if you simply say, hey, I work with a bunch of businesses in the area and I want to set a time to meet with you, they're almost always going to ask, all right, what do you do, right? There's nothing wrong with the question, but it's often avoidable, right? So getting too many questions over the phone can make it more challenging to set the appointment, but there's no way to fully answer the questions because you want to push for the sales rep to go in there and answer the questions for them. Number 3 on the value statement is business owners want to save time by trying to dig out as much information from you as possible. Be prepared and have multiple value statements that are building continuation value on top of the previous one. So don't give away too much information either because it's just going to give them a reason to say no to you. So step 4 in the cold call process is asking for the appointment, right? The reason you're calling is to ask for the appointment. You're not calling to sell 5 stars, you're calling to set the appointment. So ask for the meeting by giving them specific options or days and times that you're available. Hey, are you available at 2 or 4 on Tuesday? If neither, how about Wednesday at 1, right? Yes or no is not an answer to those questions. Be prepared with answers to questions they might have while you're asking for the appointment. There's just a few questions that the owner will ask, so it's important to be prepared with a response. Until you know these answers and can repeat them off confidently off the top of your head, it's important to have your script in front of you as you're making these calls. And I've gone over a lot of these questions in the Acknowledge, Answer, Ask video. That way you're giving the best answer every time and you're confident while giving it. Another thing, and I went over in Acknowledge, Answer, Ask, is ask for the meeting after every single question they ask. In order to set as many meetings as possible, you have to learn to keep control of the conversation. So this can prevent you from getting too many questions from the owner, and it allows you to set the appointment. You can do this very simply by answering the owner's question and then following up with asking for the appointment. Step 5 in the cold call process is to solidify the appointment. So solidify the appointment by confirming the date and time, and then by getting the cell phone number to the owner so you can send a confirmation text. So either you can notify them about last minute changes, or more importantly, they can notify us about last minute changes. So I went over what the importance is of collecting the cell phone number in a previous video. So just look for getting the cell phone number in another meeting or another video I went over. So just to recap on the cell phone part though, is when the owner doesn't want to give their cell phone, this is when you have to get real with them and let them know you're a real person and you have to keep a real schedule as well. Look, Mr. Owner, I promise I'm not going to do anything weird with your number. It's just that my sales rep lives and dies by their schedule, as I'm sure you do as well. And if anything comes up last minute for you or them, we want to be able to communicate, and the texting is the fastest way to do that. So what's the best number for you? Again, if they just won't give you the cell phone number, who knows if they're going to even want to show, right? Because they might not be even serious in meeting with you. Lastly, the last step of the cold call process is confirming the decision makers. This is extremely important. So many local partners struggle with meetings not closing because the lack of setting appointment skills. They choose to set appointments with people who are unclosable. And what I mean by that is they're setting an appointment with the manager or whoever's just willing to meet. Save the sales rep some time and confirm that they're meeting with everyone involved in the decision-making process. Make sure the meeting has included everyone, the partners, the husband, the wife. Some owners don't need everyone to be there, but a majority of them do need to be there. So again, it's extremely important to set the appointment with all the decision makers. So that's the cold call process. Just to recap, the 6-step process is the introduction, separation, the value statement, asking for the appointment, solidifying the appointment, and confirming the decision makers.